Okay, you start opening the blank project to start a fresh project, for instance, and you notice that there are a lot of more template. Okay, you notice there are a lot of template shared by Microsoft. For instance, you do not know how to start the work. You can click on commercial construction, especially for the construction industry, residential construction, or even simple project plan. And then basically you basically adapt and change from that. But you have to bear in mind, these template basically related to construction in the US. So we might not exactly follow the same method of construction, but at least some a majority of the building element are almost the same anyway. Okay, that's how you start. So you click on blank project. Okay, you click on blank project and you will see these kind of views. The column and row, and then followed by divider. Okay, this column and row basically are very similar to Excel, okay, because they belong to Microsoft Office. So basically you can copy, paste, export from the Excel as well. And how many columns are shown? Actually, not many. One, task name, duration, start, finish of activity, predecessor, resource name. And you can add other column, a new column. That's it. Actually, in order to input Microsoft project, it is not that difficult. You need to input task name, and then you need to basically organize according to your WBS. Where is your WBS? You can insert column W, click on W. So all list of W will be there, then you click on WBS. See, WBS we do not insert according to what we learn in class. We need to organize, because when you insert the task name or you put the list in the task name A, B, C, D, etc. So it is just a long list without the computer do not know how to arrange according to what the WBS structure looks like. We are the one that should arrange. That should be the one. So I would say step number one would be coming out with the list, the task name, which you already have in WBS exercise. You just simply put or type them together here, and then you organize them. Then you will see how your WBS numbering will change accordingly. Then for sure you need to input the duration. How do you get the duration? Is from the what we call your calculation. Okay, productivity calculation. Then project start date and finish date will be automatically generated for us based on when do you want the project to be started. And then predecessor, okay, is the one that you input, and resource name. So resource name, basically when you calculate the duration of the activity, for sure you already pair with the right resources. So those resources are here, okay, you put it here. And when you put the resources, for sure the resources do have costs, okay, associated with all the resources. And then that's how the costs are being generated based on the resources and the timing that you associate them. Okay, so when you input resources, we do not input resources through this column. Other column, yes, task name, duration, and predecessor. That is the only three columns that we need to input. But for WBS, we do not input, we just organize the project. That's what we call organize. And then the issue is resource column. We do not input directly on the resource column, but we input on what we call different sheet, This is the sheet. We call it resource sheet. If I click at the bottom there, then the resource sheet will appear. Now it is still empty because there is no data. As I mentioned to you many times, computer is just a computer. Okay, it's just a tool. We are the one that need to input all the values, and then the computer will process or will give us output. And what do we do about the output, or are we able to interpret the output? It depends on the knowledge. That's why we need to learn. Okay, all the software that use, even Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, they are courses that you can go. People do go for the courses, for the expert one. But if you just want to explore for little bit of usage, then it is okay. But if you are really serious, let's say, for instance, if you want to do your PhD involves a lot more things. So you need to understand the word in terms of reference, how to generate reference, and many more. Then that software could be very helpful, okay? Not just simply typing things and then printing. Okay, so that is what we call resource sheet. Now let me go back to Gantt chart. Okay, so the column and row is similar to Excel. These are the place that we basically input our data in, but that is not the only way. There is another way. Okay, I will show you later. And then you notice there is a divider here. Divider is basically, you can drag divider in order to see a lot more columns. If you have a big screen, then this looking at Microsoft project could be very helpful. But if you are using just small screen, then you will have difficulties to fit everything in. And then you notice this area, we call it Gantt chart area. And on top of this one, this is what we call time scale. Time scale, now it is shown in terms of days. Okay, Wednesday, today is Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday. You can change to numbering. You can change to many things. If you double click here, you notice you can change to many selection. Okay, you can change to many selection. That's how you change the time scale to fit with what you want in terms of by looking, or if later on you want to print. And you notice in this white column, white area here, there are gray area. Gray area indicate Saturday and Sunday as off day. So if you plan to work all day long, or if you plan, for instance, Friday and Saturday could be off day instead of Sunday and Saturday and Sunday, so you need to change this thing. Okay, you are the one that need to change with the setting. And then you notice there is a dotted line here. Dotted line indicate today's date. When you change the date to whatever date that you want to start the project, this dotted line will basically will be shown on the right date. Okay, all right then. And Microsoft project, starting from 2013 and until now, they are using the same interface. Previously, 2010, they start the changes in 2010. Before 2007, into 2010 was a drastic change in terms of arrangement of the menu. So from 2010 until now, the menu looks almost the same, but except that the coloring or the menu are different. So that's why if you are using all Microsoft Project 2007, you will have difficulties to follow my my videos. Okay, I do have videos in the YouTube already. Later on, you can go back and take a look at those things. This is just a repeat of that videos. because you need to do one work after this. Okay, you need to basically duplicate the work that I'm telling you in this class, and later on you need to submit that extra work there using Microsoft Project, and we want to see whether you get the same answer or not. Okay, if you done exactly as what we told, perhaps you will get the idea. Okay. The menu. Okay, the menu. Let's go through the menu. You notice there is a menu here. This menu, basically, you can even hide view bar. So normally when you open Microsoft Project in your computer, you will see something like this. Gantt chart is being shown here, is being written here. There is no what we call side menu as mine, because I simply click on the mouse here, and you notice when you tick, for instance, view bar, okay, we need to say all this shortcut menu will appear. Okay, shortcut menu will appear for you to basically click again and again, because all the menu are embedded inside this main menu here, file, task, resource, etc. So you need to click in order to get to the right menu. Sometimes it is quite hectic to find one menu because it is somewhere here. Okay, now let's go in brief. Okay, what we are going to do. Okay, before we even start, I just want to clarify on, if you click here, new task, auto schedule and manual schedule. Okay, Microsoft started to introduce manual scheduling maybe in the version of 2013, if I'm not mistaken. Before this, it was just everything is auto schedule. If, for instance, you do have all Microsoft Project file from previous version, 2007 and below, or even 2010 and below, they are all automatic. So when you open up in a new version of the software, so they will be in automatic mode. Okay, but now we do have two options here, so you can basically use these two versions. Okay, let me explain to you the differences between these two versions. Not two way of scheduling, auto or manual. You can click on the task, and you notice it is not being shown there yet because we have not selected any task. Okay, manual schedule and auto schedule. Okay, let me just simply type an activity, let's say A, okay, and then B. You see, the way to type in the activity, just using this task and just start typing the real name of the activity. So you notice when I type the activity, even C, D, you see the WBS is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is not the WBS that we want. We want the WBS to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1.1, 1.1.1, 1.1.1.1. That is the concept of the tree. Okay, so that it is like organizational chart, but now we are talking about work. So how do we get those things? That's why we need to organize. But we will get into that. Now I just want to show you the differences between manual and auto scheduling. So you notice when you are in manual scheduling, there is a pin icon there. So everything is now on the manual scheduling. But what if I change C and D? I change C and D into auto schedule. Okay, I click on task. Click on task, auto schedule. You see, I already changed them into auto schedule. And you might notice immediately between this the differences between manual and auto, look at the format that you need to input. The format is automatically being shown that you need to input in such format only. Otherwise, computer will not accept that values. But then for the manual scheduling, the duration is not being asked. So meaning to say, you can type in, hold on, for instance, and the start date. Ask the boss, for instance. Finish date also, predecessor, everything you can type in. Okay. So what is this thing is all about? This is the concept of planning that I mentioned very early in the class. Planning involves thinking process. Okay, planning involves thinking process, and planning shall not be done by one person. You need to have a meeting or brainstorming session. Bring in all the expert or people who have experience. Ask them to contribute during a meeting or whatever. And during that meeting, there might be one person typing in all the input. You can write the idea on what we call stick note. Okay, stick note, you can stick on the wall, but then somebody must basically capture those things inside the computer. The best way, so that you do not do things many times, just capture them on Microsoft Project. Okay, but the issue with Microsoft Project, if you are using manual scheduling, then the computer will keep asking you about this value, which basically you do not know. And then even predecessor, you have the ideas, but basically you do not want to put the link yet because it is not done yet. That is the purpose of manual scheduling. Okay. For me, it is for the purpose of basically planning. And in fact, some of the listing here, you can even let me try. You see, insert task, delete task, inactive task. Previously, Microsoft Project doesn't have these function features. Inactive task. You can make this one as inactive task, for instance, inactive task. Okay. Now you see, inactive task, the task is there. It remains in the program, but it is being what we call hibernate. And when you want to reuse the task, and basically you can click on active task again. Okay, this is a good function. So if for the start, if you want to learn, normally you learn using the automatic scheduling. Okay, using the automatic scheduling, that would be better. Okay, so that is the issue with the differences between auto and manual scheduling. And okay, let me basically make sure everything is on auto scheduling, because we want to give you some sample. Okay, when you put everything on auto scheduling, then the computer will keep asking you, is it one day? So you are the one that need to answer the computer. We do not want the question mark there. Okay, so that's why sometimes when you look at Microsoft Project, there are some question mark still on the duration column. So meaning to say, you have not pressed the enter button. Okay, let me press, this one is 2 days, this one is 3 days, this one is 4 days. No, this one is, let me make it one. This one is 2, this one is 3, this one is 4. And you know what? The good thing is that the bar is being drawn according to number of the days. You notice one, make it bigger. Okay. See, 1 is 1 day. The bar length indicate the length of the duration. When it is start, Wednesday. When it is finished, Wednesday at the same day at 5 p.m. Okay, that is the concept. And then when do it start? It start basically, now we do not link those things together yet. Later on you will see. Okay, but basically 2 days indicate 1, 2 according to the time scale. How about if it is 4 days? Now 4 days, Wednesday, Tuesday, Friday is 3 days, but then Saturday and Sunday is holiday. So holiday is non-working days. 4 days mean working days only. So the bar will be extended. Okay, it is not to say that when the bar is long, okay, even Saturday and Sunday is people do have working. No, it doesn't mean like that. Just simply the bar is being drawn that way, but the real working day is only 4 days. Okay, that is the concept. But we have not input the predecessor yet. Okay, so you notice this sign keep coming. Okay, keep coming. Why? Because I already set my computer to save every 10 minutes. That is the one that you normally would like to do as well. Okay, so before we go into this one, first thing first, okay, when you want to do the scheduling, you should do first is basically setting up. Okay, setting up. Okay, you click on file. There are a few what we call menu here. The one that we are looking at, for instance, the save as is similar to Office. When you save as, there is okay, you can save as, for instance, okay, you can save as, okay, let me try to, okay, and you notice there is a button here. This is where you put your password, okay, password inside the file, and you can click on save. When you click on save, automatically the file will be changed from project 1, that is generic file name, into whatever the file name that you already put. Okay, so that is the and the most important thing, when you want to start the project, you go for the option. This is what we call setting up. Okay, you go for the option setting up, and you notice there are a few buttons here. You need to basically set up. Okay, set up your work program. There are a few things that you need to set up. For instance, display. You notice display here. You can choose the calendar. Normal calendar is a Gregorian calendar. Even we do have Hijri calendar, Thai Buddhist calendar. Hijri means Hijrah. Okay, the normal calendar would be Gregorian. Okay, now we want to change USD. If we are living in Malaysia, perhaps all the value is in Malaysian ringgit. You click on M, so you find MYR. Okay, MYR. Let's see how, when you click on MYR, okay, the symbol RM is already there in my computer. For instance, your computer might only show R, but then you can just simply add M. So that indicate a proper symbol for Malaysian ringgit. Okay, so use whatever symbol according to the currency that you wish. That is example of what you need to change on display. And normally on display, I will click on this entry bar as well. If you finish everything, then you will click OK. So you are basically ready. You already set up your what we call file, okay, your setting to start your scheduling. And then next, schedule. Under this schedule, there are a few things that you need to change. For instance, this is what we call the working time. Let's say, for instance, you start the project today. Today is Wednesday. You should change to Wednesday, not Monday. Monday, it is according to the exact date that you start the project. And when you start the project December, you click on December, and you might want to click this one, indicate the time scale of the starting of the project here. And then you might change the working time. As in US, by default, the start time start at 8 and then finish at 5. If, for instance, in Malaysia, we are working until 6 or 7, whatever, every day, but you can change according to different day, okay? But this is for generic setting. You can change here, and then you can change hours per week, hours per day, hours per week, and then days per month. You should change accordingly. And then show assignment unit, meaning to say unit of either manpower, machine, or material. You want to show in terms of what? Percentage or decimal. Normally, I will show in terms of decimal. Decimal mean, let's say you want to show, you want to tell people that you are using resources such as excavator. You have 2 excavator, meaning to say 2 in terms of number. But if you choose to use percentage, that will show 200%. Okay, 200%. Meaning to say, if it is in percentage, you can also have 50% or even less. So 50% equivalent 0.5 in terms of decimal. So what does 0.5 mean? Is it half of the excavator? Okay, it is not half of the excavator in terms of timing percentage, meaning to say 50% that resources being used only half day, half of the working time. That is what is meant. And then you notice auto and manual scheduling. Okay, auto and manual scheduling. You should do this set up before you even start putting the data. Okay, sometimes the issue is that, let's say you already input all the data, but then you want to go back to option. Sometimes you need to basically edit on the data that you input, because the computer do read based on the previous input. That is the issue. Okay. Duration enter. You can enter duration in minute, hours, days, week, but you can mix and mesh the unit inside one file, but that is not recommended because we might get confused between what we call minute, days, month, whatever. And then, okay, work is entered in hours. What is work? Work is being defined as unit of man, machine, or material times duration. That is how work is being calculated. So if you already put inside a unit, but then how many hours of work? So the unit of that resources time with the duration of activity, then that is what hours is all about. Okay, now this is the issue. Okay, a lot of people do get this thing confused. Later on, when you input your data, but then when you start inputting the resources, then you notice that the duration that you input has already been changed by the computer. Let's say previously you put all the values like like this one, okay. For instance, we already input the values like 1, 2, 3, 4. Suddenly, when you input the resources, then it will change like 1.2, 2.3, it could be less 3.1, 4.5. How come that thing happened? This is the issue. Okay, because we have not covered that thing yet. It is in our second half of the class anyway. Resource scheduling. Okay, resource scheduling. For the time being, we only cover in our what we call class to associate activity with duration. We have not gone into putting resources yet. Okay, but I'm just when we show the Microsoft project, for sure we need to cover, we need to input complete information. Otherwise, why you need to use software if, for instance, you do not optimize the usage of software? Okay, that is the issue. Okay, with regard to this one, in our class, in exercise that you need to do, you are going to start with a fixed duration. When it is fixed duration, make sure this box is not being clicked. This box, when you click, it is meant for fixed unit or fixed work. But normally, it is either fixed duration or fixed unit because we put everything in unit form. We do not put in terms of fixed work. Okay, so that is the issue. Fixed unit simply mean, let's say, for instance, let's take a look at our example. Let's say activity D, I put 4 days. Let's say activity D is what we call maybe from work. Okay, 4 days. Why 4 days? Because I'm using 4%. Let's say 4%. But what if 2% only available? What would happen to the duration? Automatically, the computer, if you put fixed unit and then click on this button, automatically the computer will increase this value into 8 days, because the assumption is that 4 days require 4%. If it is only 2%, then basically we need to increase this thing. Okay, we need to double up the duration. So that's why those things keep changing, because it is logically that should be the concept. When you increase or decrease the resources, the duration will basically be influenced. All right, so fixed unit and then you click this button. Otherwise, fixed duration, that should be in, and then you can click this button and this button. Okay, so that is example. And then proving you don't need to do that. Save, for saving, I normally will click on auto save. You can set to whatever minute that you want, and then you can click prompt before saving. Okay, prompt before saving for the saving. Otherwise, sometimes you are still working, you didn't realize that the battery is out already or blackout. Okay, you basically lost everything. And then advance. So there are 2 more. Advance is the second last that we need to set up. And you notice that you can standard rate. This is the issue is that in Malaysia, we do not pay even the workers by hourly rate. Basically, we do not have that concept. But in US, for instance, everybody have the hourly rate of payment, regardless of who you are, whether you are workers or professional. It is being spelled out, the daily rate. If you have to work extra 1 hour, then automatically how much you will get. But in Malaysia, sometimes we do not do that. Okay, we might pay people on daily rate. Daily rate meaning to say, well, it might not be necessarily 8 hours. Okay, sometimes more than that. That is the issue. But if you want to change instead of per hours, you can change that thing in term of days or week or whatever. Okay, display option for this project, you see, if you want to choose the unit, make sure the short name for the unit is, you follow the same thing, meaning as MIN, hours as HR, etc. So you can mix and match the what we call the unit. All right. Then, okay. Basically, I will tick all these box. Okay, I will tick all this box. And then lastly is the trust center. Trust center setting here again, legacy format. I normally click on the last button to be able to read the previous format, plus the Microsoft project can also read from SharePoint, from Excel, etc. Then I click the OK button. Okay, click OK again. All right. If you can basically go back to File, Option, and take a look at what you have changed. You see, what you have changed is there already. So that's how you do the setting up first, and then second is basically you need to set your starting date. If you do not do that, then automatically whatever the today's date will be used as a starting point. Where do you start? Basically, you can go to the project and then project information, double click on that one. You notice start date is there. So you basically click. Okay, let's say I want to start on, instead of today, tomorrow, 3rd. I click OK. Okay, I click OK, and you notice now the start date of even my my data already changed to Thursday, tomorrow, not today. And that's how computer works. And then the second, okay, second one, the third one, okay, the first one is setting up using option. And then the second one is basically set the starting date. And then the third one would be change working time. Okay, where is that change working time? It's under here, project, change working time. Okay, this is the calendar, current calendar. If you are developing a project for next year, you can basically drag, go for next year calendar. And you notice that December, Saturday and Sunday is considered as blank, what we call gray area, indicate it is non-working days. And the issue is that we want to make a few of the selected default day as working days. How do we do that? Or even we want to mark certain day as holiday. For instance, Christmas is 25th December will be Christmas, is public holiday. How do we do that? So because it is not shown here, okay. Now you notice there's two buttons here, okay, two buttons here. Now when I click exception and click on the right, what we call date, and then I mark Christmas, I just type Christmas, and then click on the date selection and date end, okay, which is only one day. You can have multiple selection. Then you notice the December is already off days. That's how you mark the calendar holidays. Then how about, for instance, Saturday, Sunday, let's say, or even this 2 days we want to make it as holiday. Let's make Sunday as working days. Click on work week, click on detail, then click on Sunday. Then you need to set the time. Okay, set the time from where? Okay, 8 a.m. Then what we call 12 p.m. That would be the morning session. 1 p.m. 5 p.m. Then you click on OK. Click OK. You see, now Sunday is already set as working days. So only Saturday is off. So you can change that. If you do that, then you click OK. You notice something. Now the gray area only appear on Saturday for Saturday, which Saturday considered as working days. No, it's holiday, and then Sunday as working days. That's how you set up. But go back to project again. You notice the timing. If you click on each of these things, the timing indicate here, and you need to also change the timing. Okay, remember you need to change the timing in the option selection plus on this calendar. Then only you will get the same result. Let's say if you and your friend do exactly the same scheduling, but one of you did not change to the right or basically make a mistake maintaining the same, whereas we say that it is working until 7 p.m., then trust me, you will not get the same answer as your friend. You might finish the project much earlier compared to your friend if, for instance, you are working for a longer period of time, for sure. Okay. All right. So that would be the third thing that you need to set up first. Then you are good to go. Okay, you are good to go. Okay, you are good to go, meaning to say now you need, basically you are going to input the data inside your Microsoft project. Okay. So before we go into that, let us click on each of this menu briefly, because in order to understand Microsoft project, you need to, as I mentioned, you can read books. There are free books that you can get from the internet, for instance. Okay, every year people produce book about Microsoft project, and even Microsoft Press itself do produce book. Normally they call it step by step. For version 2019, for version maybe upcoming version, there will be books. Okay, and other publisher will also produce books. Okay, you can go for the dummy series of books that explain in a simple way, okay, about how to use Microsoft project. And you can take a look at the YouTube for easy, instead of reading the whole books, some people do share overview of how to use Microsoft project. You can learn very fast, but not to become expert. Expert wise, you need to understand the software, you need to have knowledge about planning and scheduling, you need to have experience, you need to have practice, then only you can become a better scheduler. Okay, if you click on task represent here. Task or meaning to say activity. So if you click task, all the menu related to tasks. For instance, if you want to organize tasks, this is what we call organize or WBS. You are using this button. If you want to split the tasks, this is the one that you do, that you can click. If you want to link the tasks, link meaning to say predecessor. If using finish to start relationship, you can do that. You can unlink the task, okay, or simply call delete the relationship. Okay, so the shortcut button is there, and then you can basically, all this button here indicate updating or tracking. We are not into this one yet, okay, because what we are learning for the time being is just to develop a schedule, for instance. And then later on, information. Information, if you click on any selected task, A, and then task information, okay, this dialog box will appear. All information about the task. What is the name of the task? What is the duration? What is the predecessor? Is not yet there. Resources, advanced, notes, custom field, everything about the task. Okay, so those are the things that you normally, you can double click instead of clicking on that particular, you can double click and the same information about the task will appear. And then resource. Okay, resource is related to this one. Resource name. We have not input resource name yet, but if you click on resource, you notice there is assign resource. Assign resource meaning to say, when you input list of resources in the resource sheet here, this acts as a library. Library mean you can input all the resources from many projects that you already have, and then this, you just simply list all the resources that you think normally any construction will basically use, but then you just simply save the file without even having to input the data. So you see, because that resource sheet indicate it is just simply the information. It is not going to be linked to your activity if you do not link them. The way Microsoft project works, if you click on this column and row here, you notice there is down arrow there. You see, it is empty. Why? Because there is no resources being input in the resource sheet yet. So the computer do not know how to relate. Even though it is being inputted, we are the one that have to relate, or basically we call it assign the resources or attach the resources. When you attach the resources, then only that activity will be using that resources, and all about the resources later on will be generated, including the calendar for that resources. Let's say if you have many people working at the construction site, Ali, Ahmad, Abu, everybody, then you know what? You can even print out the assignment for Ali. Ali will know his work or assignment throughout the duration of the project. It is like a roster. That is the good things about when you input the resources. Okay. Then report. What is report? Report is the one that show, for instance, dashboard. Dashboard. You can click each of these things. Now we do not have much of the information because we do have ABC000 because we have not inputting all the data yet about resource and etc. Cost in progress. This is what you can print out, the reporting. It depends on which information do you want, okay? And in fact, you can even customize the report, okay? So you need to learn those things. And then visual report. Visual report is where, for instance, we want to generate the S-curve, okay? The S-curve for our project can be generated using this one. And you notice there is a button here, show Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Visio. So Microsoft Project do extract or basically export the data to Microsoft Excel or Visio in order to be able to plot the graph. But the graph might not look nice, but the data is given already. So we are the one that can use the data and then use different, what we call graph in the Microsoft project so that we can draw a much better graph, okay? So graph is just up to us. In Microsoft Excel, There are selection of different graphs, so you can use. In Microsoft Project itself, it will not draw for you the graph as in Excel. They do give some kind of graph based on certain format. That's it. That is for the view and printing purposes. And then how about project? Okay, click on the project, go back to Gantt chart. Okay, click on project. So under project information, I already mentioned to you, WBS, what is this thing, define code, change working time is the one that we already set up, calculate project, and set baseline. Okay, set baseline is basically for tracking purposes. So we do not get into this thing yet. Okay, that will be later on. And update project. All is this thing is about project tracking. That will be the after you develop the schedule, then basically you do the tracking. Views. Okay, the way Microsoft Project works, basically, Microsoft Project do not give us many views when you open up this basically any file, because the view are being hide. Otherwise, it will not fit into the computer or computer screen. If you want to zoom into particular view, you are the one that need to click. For instance, what are the views? Okay, more views. So you can have different views. You click, then only Microsoft will show to you. And then after that view, you might want to go back to your Gantt chart again and again. So this is where you are working on, except that when you want to go into different views, so please click on views, or sometimes we even have the shortcut. For instance, I normally will use this box here as a shortcut in order to look at different what we call views or table, okay, especially cost table, and then schedule, etc. And if I click schedule, this is what I call early start, early finish, late start, late finish. Free slack is free float, total slack is total float. We already learned in our class how to calculate manually. You can basically, whatever the class exercise or the one that you show in the slide, you can basically input into Microsoft Project and see whether you get the same answer or not. Okay, so because all the slack mean float. In computer software, they do not use the word float, they use slack. Slack is something, the same meaning, it is something that can be delayed, okay? How many days, the free time. All right, but unfortunately, Microsoft Project only show us the scheduling in terms of the date, whereas in our manual calculation, we use in terms of numerical, okay? We start with 0, then we just simply add the numbers, okay? We can get the duration of the activity automatically. But in terms of date, if we do it manually, then basically you need to look at the calendar the other way around. But if you are using other software, such as Primavera, I think you can have the option to view in terms of what we call numerical as in our manual calculation. Okay. All right. So again, lastly is about format. You notice this is you can even change the color of the bar, the shape of the bar a little bit round or square, or even the shape of network diagram. And you notice format here, the critical path, the critical task, I do not tick. When I tick, it will indicate in a red color. The bar here will be red, indicate critical activities. And then, for instance, if I click on the project summary task, it will give the overall project duration. Okay, so that would be the format. And when you go for courses, in order to understand how to use Microsoft Project in detail, the course will run for 2 or 3 days. Okay, 2 or 3 days. But normally the course, if you go for actual face-to-face, nowadays people will charge you between 800 to 1,000 per day. So 3 days meaning to say 3,000. That is just to understand the features of Microsoft Project. You don't even get into the how to manage construction project. So construction project do have something a little bit extra or difference between different or just general project. So you want to learn from the right person, especially people who have experience at construction site. Okay, now, so I already gave you in brief in terms of the features, just very briefly, okay? And now I want to complete on a few things here. You notice, let me go back to N3. N3 is the default where we are working on our scheduling. Okay, now I want to show you how to input predecessor. Okay, predecessor. Okay, you can input predecessor. Maybe predecessor is finished to start. So all those activities are interrelated. After A, B, after B is C, after C is D. Okay, how do we input those things? We can basically click on this, all these tasks, and then if it is finished to start, it is easy. You just simply click on link. Now you already link those activities together. Okay, see, finish to start relationship. If it is finished to start, okay, then you can click on unlink if you want to delete, or you can just simply highlight and use the delete key from your keyboard. Okay, that would be one way to link the activities. But then you can also use this this diagram, the bar chart. Click on, use your mouse and drag this mouse. You see now you already link those activities together. Okay, see the same and the same result. That is another way. So meaning to say, if you you can use this link or unlink, or even select in between, not all the activity in between. You can control using your control button and whatnot. That would be one way. You can just basically click directly on this one and then drag into whatever activity that you want. That will be the second way. Okay, or if you already know, if you input, you can input manually. You know that activity B is from A. We do not input A. Let me input A. You see, the computer will reject. Will reject meaning to say you are not using the right format. Computer do not recognize activity by activity name. Computer only recognize by this column here. This 1, 2, 3 is the auto-generated ID for each activity. So the computer will do that. So the computer only recognize those numbering. So you should use those numbering. A is 1. B, C is from B. B is number 2. B is 2. ID number 2. D is from C. C is ID 3. Okay, you see? This is the third way. Some people will when they develop the relationship, they already know what to connect from this activity. Then from that, they figure out about this one. So you can do this one in Excel first. Okay, then basically you can copy paste into Microsoft Project. So that would be the third way to input the data. Let me delete this thing. And then the fourth way, You notice this one, Gantt chart and then network diagram. Okay, we in our class, in order to calculate PDM diagram, we draw what we call our PDM diagram, okay, the square box there. And then you notice the format is according to calendar. That is the format given by Microsoft. But you can change the content inside here, but it is only limited to certain selection of information that you want to show. Okay, but still, it is not going to be equivalent to the manual calculation in terms of the values that we want. Okay, never mind, that is the concept. Okay, now we already have 4 boxes. You know what? You can even start a work program by opening the network diagram instead of Gantt chart. This is the Gantt chart, this is network diagram. How do you do that? You know what? Using your mouse, you can even drag and release the mouse. So one box is going to be, see, this box. This box is going to be what we call created for us, okay? Created for us. Then basically, if you go back to Gantt chart, you notice these 2 activities are being created, okay? If you want that activity to be put somewhere, you just move them around. Similar to your, what we call Excel, except that the name. Okay, let's go back to network diagram. And the name is not there yet. You can double click the box. See, just put DE. How many days? That's 2 days. Click OK. Now, the activity is already being named. So that's why I told you we can work from the network diagram instead of just looking at the Gantt chart. It is similar, okay? Then this one, DEF. How about F? Then also 2 days. Click on that thing. Okay, now you notice the link is already there. Let's go to Gantt chart. You see, those activities are being linked together. We can even link the activity using this concept. See, we can link, and then we can link those activity. Okay, now we are done. Okay, you notice our activity, we can entire project. See, all the activity are being interrelated. So you can work from what we call network diagram. Make it smaller so that you can see the whole thing. And you notice they are red in color. Red in color indicate critical path because it is only one path. They are critical paths. And in fact, you can confirm that one looking at the format, critical path, you click on critical task. So everything is red. So if they are blue in color, if you have multiple branches of network or path, then perhaps only 1 or 2 could be critical, the rest could be colored in blue. Okay, so you know that all the activity are now on critical. So that's how you input predecessor. Okay, before we go into resources, the last one. Okay, now we have not finished with regard to WBS. So you notice WBS 1, 2, 3 is only on level 1. We want 1.1, 1.2. That should be the correct way. So how do we do that? Okay, let's assume ABC. ABC is all those activity belong to phase 1. So first thing first, I insert tasks because I want to create one naming phase 1. One name that show ABC belong to phase 1, whereas DEF insert task phase 2. Okay, so I can insert. So don't worry, you can insert the whatever title that you want in between, that title is not considered as activity. Activity is only A, B, C, the real activity. Those titles we can insert, but then you need to basically do grouping. You group them or you organize your project. Remember, I told you we do not want any what we call question mark. So in this situation, phase 1, you do not put any duration. Just leave like that, because the duration will be automatically calculated once you organize your project accordingly. So you need to watch this duration, what would happen to phase 1 and phase 2 when I organize the project. And also watch the WBS, how WBS will change according to the change that I will make. Okay, now I want to organize the project. Okay, I want to organize the project using this button. This is what we call indent. The left button is outdent. Outdent is basically to undo the indent. If you make a mistake, then you need to select the activity and then outdent. So outdent, indent is similar to your tab. Tab as in the, when you write a thesis or chapter in whatever your assignment, for sure you have 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, and then 2 is basically chapter 2, 2.1, 2.2. Chapter 3 is 3. That is the concept. Similar. Okay, in order to organize, let's say I want to make ABC as in phase 1. As in phase 1, what I need to do is basically select those activity, click on task, and then click indent. Okay, you notice what happened. So the phase 1 will be bold, and then they will be considered as 1 WBS, and the activity under 1 will be 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. I can even split further A if I do have sub-activities. Let's say I do have A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 sub-activity. I can insert activity, but then I need to group A1, A2, A3, A4, A5 under A. Then only you will notice the WBS will change according to the grouping and duration wise. You notice 6 days. Why 6 days? 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6 days, automatically being calculated. And then how about the bar chart? How it looks, you see? You notice there is a summary bar there. Summary bar indicate this, the 3 activity ABC will be done in this time frame. Okay. And you know what? If I click on this small, what we call triangle here, it will close. It will close the detail activity. It show only the main activity in phase, the summary task in phase 1. Then let me try to do another for phase 2 task, then indent. Okay. Now, if I close this one, also phase 1 and phase 2. This is what I have been talking about master work program and detailed work program. Master work program normally, because there are so many things, let's imagine your IDP. Maybe you have done your IDP 1 and IDP 2. IDP, on that piece of land, you have so many buildings to construct or you plan to do, to develop. You have road, you have drainage, you have sewerage, you have everything. And how exactly are you going to show them in one piece of poster, for instance? So in that situation, you can do master plan work program. Only the main building name will appear, whereas the detail will be shown if you click the button. The software can do that. Okay, previously you need to draw on separate drawing sheet. Okay. All right. So that's how you organize your WBS. You do not input WBS according to what we learn, but actually you need to organize by selecting the activities and then click on indent. Okay, now the last portion is basically the issue of resources. Okay, resources. How do you input resources? Okay, remember, you do not input resources directly on resource. You input resources on the what we call resource sheet. Okay, you can click on this button. There will be resource sheet down here. Where is that? It's too small here. Here, resource sheet, or even you can click on this shortcut menu. There is a few shortcut menu, namely what? Blank report, resource sheet. What is this? Team planner, task usage. Okay, this resource sheet is here. Okay, empty piece of paper. Okay, where you need to input the things. What you input, for instance. Okay, now let's input manpower first. Maybe you have a project manager. Maybe you have engineer. You have supervisor. You have workers. You have carpenter. You have what? Barbender. You have concreter. And you have everybody. So the manpower, you will list all the manpower. Okay. You notice I did not change into percentage. This is what happened. Okay. If I click on option, schedule, this percentage, I click to decimal, then it will show values. Okay. All right. Engineer, at one time, how many in terms of maximum number? Maybe one. Engineer, how many? If it is 2, you put 2. Supervisor, if it is 2, 3, you put 3, according to the real planning. Okay. Workers, how many? Maximum number. This is the one you set 4, or this one is put 5. This one is put 6. This one put 2. That's how you input the values. And another one is basically you input the rate if you know the rate. But again, the issue in Malaysia, we do not use the hourly rate most of the time. And then when you input this value, you add up with machine, you add up with material, then it will not be tally with the contract document. Whereas this thing is to be shown to the client. That could be the issue. And then, this is just an example. You input the machinery. Let's say bulldozer, excavator, dumper, and then what else? Okay, let's say crane, and etc. Okay, so again, cost-wise, whether you want to input or not, but the most important thing, the number of bulldozer, crane, etc. should be according to what you want. Okay, and then material. It is better that you put the material as resources. If, for instance, you want to input the rate based on unit rate of the project, BQ from your contract, and then basically you can input in terms of what? The name, earthwork, what we call rebar, formwork, concrete, etc., etc. And when you do that, you need to change this thing into material, 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 and then material. Okay, and then you also put a unit, let's say cubic meter, rebar for ton, formwork as square meter, concrete as cubic meter, etc. Sorry, cubic meter. And then, sorry, this one is material, cubic meter. And then you can input the cost as per unit rate here. Earthwork, let's say 30 ringgit. Rebar, let's say 2,500 per ton. Formwork, maybe, I don't know, 20 ringgit, let's say. Concrete, 400 ringgit. 400. Okay, sorry. 400 ringgit. 400. That's it. So the RM will appear. That's why we change the symbol at the beginning of the project. Okay. And then you notice this unit, if you click, there are work, material, and cost. We can also input what we call list of things according to the cost unit, such as what? Traveling, meeting, inspection, testing, subcon A, subcon B, etc., etc. Okay, and you change this one to cost. Okay, cost. Okay, copy and then paste. It doesn't work. Okay, you have to drag. All right, so basically you change to cost and you notice what happened. Okay, all right, actually you can drag, simply drag. Okay, the empty space here, you do not input the cost here. So there is a place that you need to input those costs and the unit of the real material, then only the computer will calculate for you the cost. Okay, now, as I told you, you can input all the, what we call listing here, and just simply save this one as a file, whatever name, without even inputting any, what we call activity yet. This act as your library, and then basically what you do is you can always copy, just simply copy, highlight this thing, copy and paste into a new project that you are working on. Yeah, you can do that. Okay, now let's go back to Gantt chart. We have not done on resource name. You notice when I click on A, activity A, here A, then the list of resources that I input is already here. Then I can just simply click, whichever material. Then I will get the, let's say I click on subcon A. Okay. See, subcon A is there already. But the issue is that if you do that, you only put subcon A as 1, but how about the cost? So the way to properly input the what we call resources is you click whatever activity that you wish to input the resources, then you go for resources, you click assign resource, this dialog box will appear. Actually, you can select the subcon from here. Okay, subcon from here, and then let's say subcon will use what? Bulldozer. Where is that? Bulldozer. Okay, and then click assign. That's how you do that. And then the computer will ask you how many unit of bulldozer. 1. And the cost is 0. Why? For bulldozer, because we do not input any cost. But for the subcon, because it is unit cost, you are the one that need to input it here. Let's say 10,000. Click enter. Now you notice here in the resource sheet, in the resource column, and even in the Gantt chart, you notice subcon A square bracket 1,000. And then bulldozer, only one, doesn't have any square bracket. Square bracket is the correct format in order to input the values in terms of unit or cost. And you notice that our project now, okay, let me go to format project summary, 14 days to complete, but now I insert cost. Let's say insert cost. Okay, now you see, I already have 10,000 because I input for activity A to be done by contractors. Contractor will use bulldozer, but because it is contractor's work, bulldozer is just simply to show what type of equipment that contractor will use. So a bulldozer is part of that 10,000. Yeah, we can do that. Okay, that is the concept. And for B, let's say B will be, what could be the B? Let me assign resource. Let's say B is a carpenter. Okay, you can click on control button while you are selecting the right workers. Maybe workers and then carpenter. Okay, assign. You see? Now the computer is asking you how many carpenters? Maybe 3. Okay, let me put more than that. Is it 5? Is it okay? Okay, 5. And then how about here? Unit. Maybe unit I put 1,000 square meter. And you notice the cost will be calculated. Why? Because I do insert a unit rate in here. In our, see, you notice form work is 20 ringgit. So if 20 ringgit times 1,000 will be 20,000. And carpenter, I put 5. Okay, 5 is maximum already. If I change this one to 4, you will see something is going to happen. Okay, something is going to happen. Okay, carpenter, let me change this thing. 5. Okay, resource. Carpenter 4. All right, carpenter. All right. Where's that thing? Okay. Now you see, you notice something happened. See, 0.4 days. 0.4 days. Okay. Why initially I put 2 days. Now why the computer basically changed to 0.4 days? Because the setting I mentioned to you previously, I did not set to fixed unit. It is fixed duration. That's what basically happened. Okay. All right. Because I already increased the number of carpenter based on what we call the maximum that I have. Okay. So automatically the work shall be reduced in terms of duration. Okay. Now, that's how you input the resources. You can finish up all the resources to input in this column, but then the cost sometime might not be complete. There is another way that you can input the cost. Go on the cost table. You notice there is a fixed column here. Okay, fixed column. A and B already have some kind of cost. But how about C? C doesn't have any cost. We can input here. Let's say 10,000. Okay, D, 5,000. So sometimes contractor do input because they do not input the what we call, the tree is supposed to be positive number. Okay. Post, is it positive or what? Let me see here. Okay, let me delete this thing. 6,000. Okay, now 7,000. Okay, sorry. Delete. Okay, so now you notice we already have cost being shown in every activity. By right, each activity do have to have costs, because how come you do certain activity without any cost? Unless you do some kind of inspection, unless you do some kind of very easy task, then basically there might be no cost. But the rest should have sufficient cost. So from this, you notice what we can do. We can go to the report. We can try to generate our S-curve. We have not learned about S-curve yet, but I'm just showing you. Once you input all the necessary data and it is complete, then basically you will have certain values. You need to expand these values in order to see the whole graph there. Okay, you see this is example of the S-curve. Okay, S-curve, it might not look like a nice S-curve because we just simply put whatever cost. Okay, in real situation, this is the S-curve that contractor and client is looking at in order to measure the progress of the contractor. But if you do not draw this S-curve nicely, don't worry, the data is already here. You can just simply copy this data and put into Excel and draw according to whatever design that you want. You will get a better chart. Okay, close. So that is, let's take a look at another schedule. Okay, you notice the our project basically, because it is everything is a critical activity, total float is 0, free float is also 0. Okay, but in real situation you might have some value. Okay, now let's go back to entry. Okay, so this is just demonstration on what we call how to use Microsoft Project. I do have what we call a sample of the project that I will basically show, but perhaps might not be today. Next week will be our semester break. So the first week after semester break, we will continue with a demonstration on a sample project. I will give you the link of videos, okay, my videos, and then some necessary data. After you learn those things later on, then perhaps you can come up with the project and see whether you get the right scheduling as what we demonstrate in this video or not. Okay. All right, then I shall stop recording. Okay.